Hello, entrepreneurs. Joe DeCharis, CPA, coming to you live from downtown Levittown, Long Island, New York, for another amazing Bedrock interview. This is 3 days in a row, folks. This is getting to be a habit. And today I have a new friend, actually an accounting compadre. And as soon as I heard her background, her story, I immediately connected with her, and let me bring her on. She is the offshore bookkeeping queen, Penny. How are you, Penny?
I'm okay, Joe. How are you today?
Are you a little bit in shock now?
Yeah, a little.
Okay. I forgot to tell you that I like making fun of people, but I was easy on you. Uh, I don't want you to get the wrong impression,
Don't
but
worry. I grew up in New England. I can handle you. Don't worry.
oh, so yeah, you're from Boston.
I'm from Boston. Yeah.
I know. We have that Easterners. Yeah, yesterday I was interviewing somebody from the Philippines, and one of the comments that came through was that, "Oh, Joe, you have a New York accent." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" Eh,
You too.
You know who you're talking to? But anyway, so we have a lot in common. We met you. You showed up at our mastermind.
Yeah, I've been to a couple of them. Your folks are pretty amazing. How much they really do the work and show up. And they were. I didn't know what I was getting into when I got invited, and I was
Yeah, most
pleasantly
people don't.
surprised. Let's say pleasantly surprised.
Was it fun or what?
Oh god, yeah. It was wicked fun, and, the first one you weren't there. Uh, the
That was
second
probably even more fun.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But no, it was pretty fascinating, uh, the philosophy behind it and how involved, because I thought this was all accountants and it wasn't, and it was interesting to hear the small business owners, the entrepreneurs that are out there, what they're doing and how they're following a program. It was pretty cool. It was pretty good. I was impressed.
Thank you.
Impressed enough to go ahead and do this, I guess.
The truth is that I have very little to do with it, and that's the honest truth. I just show up, I bring my own personality, my own background, but what I don't think anybody could have thought of that format and done it on their own. It was really it was a mastermind. It was a collaboration, and it took we didn't just wake up and that happened. Everything happens over time,
Mhm.
trial and error. We tried a lot of things that weren't. Our one of our core values is fun,
Got
family,
that right away
friends.
from your group.
Yeah, and we believe that if you're not having fun, there's something wrong. We weren't put here to be miserable. I don't care what, if you're working, if you have a business, you gotta like to get up in the morning, right?
There's enough misery in the world already. You don't need to make your
Oh
day.
yeah, we don't need more accountants bringing on more misery, right? So I think we're the only accounting firm in the world that our main focus is on fun.
Oh, well,
So
I don't know. I've met a few others, but you probably take the cream of the crop on that one. That's for
we
damn
take it to another level.
you do.
So yeah, I'm so glad that we connected. And what I really wanted to focus on was your take on the accounting industry, because I was like, oh my God, were you reading my mind? So first, let's talk a little bit about what your background is so people know who you are.
Let's see. I have been working with accountants for about 35 years now, all by accident. Prior to that, I was a high school history teacher. Um, got into this by accident because somebody needed their books taken care of, and I was in a situation where I had the time to do it. Didn't know what I was doing, screwed it up, got pissed, realized that there's no training that the CPA gave me. He just threw a program at me called QuickBooks and said, "Here, put everything into that." And I did willy nilly, and with no understanding of bookkeeping, but an understanding of how the technology worked. And so then I took a 6-week bookkeeping class and went, ah, that's what a chart of accounts is.
Only the backbone of the whole accounting system. That's what I call it.
I know. It's like so yeah, it worked out, and so I got so angry about all the things I had to go back and fix. Um, it just so happened that the business that I was working on was a business that marketed to accountants. So
Wow,
um,
interesting.
we we had a conference for them, and they were all angry about QuickBooks. And I'm going, why are you so angry about this program? I need your help. And so did probably a lot of other people in business. Because, and to tell you the truth, uh, it's become even more complicated. And business is more complicated than it was back then in 1993, obviously.
You think so?
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely think so. And, and I think in the last 2 years, the evidence of the need for good quality people who can give you good information on the data you put in to your accounting program and give you actionable results, that group of people is starting to shine, and they are accountants and bookkeepers. And
Wow, we're taking over the world again.
well, I don't know if you're taking over the world, but I think that the world's really recognized your need and your necessity. And I still need a CPA to get. I run a bunch of accounts. I have an office full of accounts. I'm not an accountant, and I still need my accountant to come in and tell me, what do my numbers mean to me today, and how are they going to affect me going in the future. And I think that that's, to me, the difference in accounting, that accountants are finally getting it. If you use these tools like Zero, like QuickBooks, like Accounting Suite, like Intact, if you and all the apps that feed into them, if you use these tools, you can actually stop looking at the history, even though I'm a history teacher, and start looking at the future. And I think business owners need that. And it can
Wow, absolutely. So you said a couple of things. You said a lot of things I definitely resonate with. I want to say hi to my friend Tim. Tim Gillette is a friend and a client. I hope he's still a friend after we did his tax return. I don't know if he's talking to me anymore. But yeah, so let's go back because I talk about this a lot. And as an entrepreneur, I took huge advantage of this. The fact that when QuickBooks came out, accountants hated it. Okay. Do you know why they hated it?
sure,
And
they
I
thought
was,
they were going to lose their write-up business.
it affected their business, right?
Well,
And
only because
this
they're
is
looking at
why,
it.
and I don't like to put people in a basket, and if you're an accountant, don't take this personally, but accountants are some of the worst business people I ever met in my life. Okay. What I saw was a great opportunity. So I said, oh, all these accountants hate QuickBooks. They don't want to use it. They're not as, and the bottom line was they weren't helping their clients. And I said, what's wrong with them? We're supposed to be helping our clients. If our clients bought a version of QuickBooks and I'm not happy about it, I didn't look at it as, oh, they're taking away my business. I looked at it as, hey, this is a tool. Maybe we can use it together and use computer. I just wrote something. I'm doing a course on bookkeeping and accounting in the United States. And I was going back. I said exactly what you said. I said, oh, Intuit came in and told the biggest lie in history. They said you can save time and money by doing your own book. Well, they didn't say time. They said you could save money by doing your own bookkeeping. And people believed that. They believed it. And you laid it out perfect. You said, oh, I put data into this program. I had no idea what I was doing. But then you went and took a course and you saw like the chart of accounts,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So I put a little ad in a local newspaper, QuickBooks training and support, and my phone was ringing off the hook.
Yep.
And that's how I built my first accounting practice.
But now the trick is to get these accountants to stop looking, because they turn QuickBooks into a new write-up program, basically, and that's still historical. And so now it's like you have the tools, the apps are out there, the cloud-based systems are out there. You can do this in real time being 72 hours, and provide your client with something that is meaningful to them, because a financial statement doesn't mean shit. It's not worth anything to me. I'm sorry. I can get a financial statement in a heartbeat. Now tell me what that means. Tell me how
Absolutely.
that's going to affect my life. Tell me how that's going to solve my pain, and whatever that pain is. And tell me what all that.
Or future pain, or
Yeah,
future pain.
yeah.
Tell, you know,
Tell me how to avoid the Mack truck that's coming down at me.
how,
Literally Mack truck. That's a good one, because that's how I got into this. We had a business, and it was a furniture business, and we were overextended and we didn't know it. I was 24, and we didn't know we were overextended and underinsured, and we had a devastating event. And I remember the CPA, who was 4 blocks away, who did our books all the time, said, "Didn't you read those financials I gave you?" And we're looking at him going, "What the fuck?" Sorry.
that's okay. You're
And
from you're from Boston, so you can get away with one.
it was like, we were going, yeah, did you see what we were doing? I mean, he was 30, I was 24. We had a catalog that went over 5 states. We were delivering furniture. We were just running, and this was before the age of computers. So he gave us these P&Ls on Greenbar, just and it
So
was, yeah.
yeah, you told it. It's you know, unfortunately, this is what happens when you're an entrepreneur. Stuff happens.
Mhm.
There's no way, you know, you weren't going to stop that truck from crashing into your building because
No.
you knew your P&L, but you might have known that you were underinsured and overextended. So
Well,
you,
yeah, exactly. We did not know the value of what we had in inventory. Therefore, we had not increased our insurance. And like he said, he goes, "You never should have bought the truck. We bought our own semi, and that was a mistake." And he goes,
yeah,
"You should have done
well,
that. John, you were 4 blocks away. Why didn't you come over here and stop him?"
yeah. Thanks a lot, John. Thanks for telling me what's obvious now.
Yeah,
You
really.
know, and that's what. So you talked
He knew
about
it.
using,
He knew it. He knew we were making a mistake. And
and he
all he
didn't actually
did was
tell you.
us, figuring that we would figure it
Okay,
out.
so that, and this is typical. This is typical because, and this is why I wanted to bring you on, because what happened to you happens to millions and millions of entrepreneurs. Okay, first of all, yeah, I just got done telling my students, I said the software is a tool. Don't expect a tax program to teach you how to do taxes. Don't expect QuickBooks. First of all, QuickBooks isn't even really an accounting program, which is how people stole millions and millions from businesses. And again, it was because the accountants weren't doing their job. Okay, I would read what, you know, how the bookkeeper did it. I said, why didn't the accountant do a bank rec? You know, you had bookkeepers going in there, depositing invoices and then deleting it, or writing out checks and deleting it from QuickBooks. So it didn't, I'm serious, you know.
I know.
So
Good one. Yeah.
the and so what I try to teach people is, you know, you have your history. There's 3 parts to everything. There's now. Now is your balance sheet, right? It shows you where you stand. It's a snapshot. Your P&L is the result of something that happened before now.
Hmm.
What we're interested in is what you said. What does all this mean? What does this mean? What, you know, what's the trends? So
And what
one of the ways I
go
do,
where
I'm
can I go?
sorry,
And then where can I go with it?
right. what are the sales trends? You know, you can't have KPIs, right? Key performance indicators, unless you have the numbers. My mentor, my coach, Larry Broughton, I remember for as long as I've known him, he said, you got to know your numbers. You got to know your numbers.
Well, I think that one of the things is that they didn't trust the numbers because they weren't in control of them. So if they're not in control of the data that's flowing into your accounting program that makes those reports, then the accountant cannot give you value on that information because they're not real. I um, I have some clients that are direct clients. Most of my clients are CPA firms, and we do outsourcing for them. But I have a few because I have to have guinea pigs to play with to test all my theories. And one of them got to the point where they needed a CPA. Because I always say, do you have a CPA that you work with that does your taxes? Yeah, okay, fine. Connect me with them and we'll set the books up the way they want it done. But this company, they had done the taxes the first year themselves because they were a startup, and it was just easy to do because there was no, it was all investment money and expenses. But now year two, they actually have revenue coming in. They have money going in and out and a lot of other stuff. They have employees. They went from 3 employees to 31 employees. So they've got a lot of stuff going on. And they said, "Can you find us somebody will do the taxes?" And I said, "Yeah, I think I can do that." And so I got one of my clients to do the taxes. And so we had an onboarding meeting yesterday. So we filed an extension because of course, they told me this April 1st. Like so we filed, well, actually, yeah, February 1st, but then we filed an extension. But she looked at the books and she said, "This is the cleanest set of QuickBooks I've ever seen." And I go, "I
Really?
hope so." Because if I didn't do it right, I'd be pissed at myself. And I'm really grateful you told me that because I was nervous wreck that here I am telling people this is how you should really use the program and keep it updated and make sure it's real and it's actionable and all that stuff. Because we do cash flow forecasting with them and everything. So I'm going, thank God I did it right. She goes, "I've never seen the detail. I use every technological tool I can to get the data in there to bring all this stuff together." So
Oh, okay, so you did the bookkeeping.
yeah, we did the bookkeeping.
Oh, I thought you were saying, okay, so the client didn't do it because that. Listen, we
No,
tell people even with 0 employees, we don't want them doing the books
no,
because listen, you should be doing what you do. If you bake, you should be baking. Don't be trying to do your accounting. Uh,
exactly.
3 employees, there's a lot of moving parts, even with 1 employee. You got payroll taxes, you might have sales taxes involved.
Oh,
So at least they got you to do their bookkeeping.
yeah, and those are two things that at the bookkeeping level can get you in trouble if they're not managed well. Don't pay your sales tax on time. Don't pay your payroll taxes on time. You'll get shut down in a heartbeat. Miss an IRS annual filing, you're probably going to get by. Okay, they won't find you for a while, but the damn state will. So,
Oh yeah, people. I just told my students. I said sales tax is the worst there is because the states are after you. They've been after you since before I started in accounting. Sales tax. There were accountants that just specialized in sales tax audits,
oh
and
yeah, the salt, you know.
the problem is, that you're responsible to collect it. It's not your money. It's like you sign, and people don't realize they're signing up to be an agent of the state. And if you don't do your job and collect their money, you have to pay it. It's bizarre.
Oh, I
They,
know. I got a young kid who came to us a couple of years ago, and his financial planner asked us if we would just set up his bookkeeping. I said, "Does he have a CPA?" "Yeah." "Okay, then I will." And I looked at his sales, and I went, "Where's you're selling a product? Where's the sales tax on this line item?" He goes, "Oh, I just roll it all up together." Going,
oh my God.
"Ugh, kill
Yeah.
me." And I
Yeah.
said, "And you're selling all over the country, aren't you?" And he goes, "Oh yeah." And I go, "Okay, now we got to figure out thresholds and."
And he's
Um,
probably not even, oh yeah, because now the states, a
yeah,
lot of them said, oh, if you're doing X amount of sales here, you have Nexus. And I'm like, it's
yeah,
out of control.
exactly.
So if you're an accountant or a bookkeeper out there just starting out, if you could specialize in sales tax problems and make a fortune.
And there are a couple of companies out there that will gladly allow you to use their app and integrate it into those applications. to make your life easier.
Yeah, I
And,
saw that. What are you familiar with them?
well, there's 3 that I'm familiar with, and obviously everybody knows about Avalara. But they
Yeah,
tend
okay, that's the one I
they
was
tend to
thinking
be
of.
for bigger companies if you're a smaller company. Luma Tax, I like a lot. They're local here to California, where I'm at right now, and then Vertex, which came out of, Ireland, I
Yeah,
believe.
because now, a lot of businesses are e-commerce, and guess what? Amazon. So here's the perfect example, and then I want to get back to the accountants. Uh, Amazon is an e-commerce site, right? And you used to be able I live in New York, so if I bought something from somebody in New Jersey, I didn't pay sales tax. I'm like,
Not
this
anymore.
this should be illegal. I'm like, I'm saving. This isn't fair to people in New York. But multiply that by 250 million consumers, it makes a big difference.
It does.
And now you buy anything from Amazon, you're paying sales tax on it.
Well, I think Amazon had that argument with the government and lost. So,
Yeah,
but
of
they did.
course. They had it,
The thing
and
is, they handle it different. If you're on e-commerce and you're selling on Amazon, you're probably also selling through Shopify. You're probably also on WooCommerce. You're probably also on Etsy or something like that, and PayPal. And each of those handles the sales tax differently. So you have to know the differences of all the different e-commerce engines you're in. So anybody who takes that kind of e-commerce business on, and I know some bookkeepers who are verticalized in that, and accounting firms are
be-
all best to you guys because that takes a lot of
it,
brains, a lot more brains than I have.
no, and people get sucked into it. They think, oh, this is going to be easy. And sales tax is probably the one tax that gets entrepreneurs in more trouble than anything else
I know
because it's
interest
just
penalties
so.
on the penalties. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so we could do a whole thing. Maybe I'll have you back on the sales tax version of this. But
Well,
I
then
want
I'll
to go back to
specialist.
yeah, I want to go back to a comment that you said about the accountants don't trust the numbers because they're not controlling it. Isn't it the accountant's job to create that system so that those numbers are reliable?
Joe, how'd you know I was thinking that? Because
Because it's logical. I'm like, what, and I have a lot to say about the accounting business, okay? Because I'm an entrepreneur, okay? First, I became an accountant because I didn't want to, believe it or not, my father tricked me into it, okay? I was 17 and he told me accountants own businesses. And that was it. I didn't know that we did bank recs and sales tax. I was like, what did you get me into?
well,
But that's why I said, we're in a service business, right? We serve our clients. So what QuickBooks did, and I'm sorry if I keep jumping around, but you were before QuickBooks,
mhm.
okay? The accountant came to you, right? Took your stuff, did your reports. Now the difference is what I learned is you sat down and you went through the financials with your client.
Yeah.
So he wasn't trained the way I was. When QuickBooks came on, it became a whole hodgepodge. It became the clients were doing QuickBooks, the accountant would get the disc or they would go there. I mean, there is no real, uh, I don't see the relationship there anymore.
Well, then it became, well, I don't want to pass files back and forth. So you just have your QuickBooks, and as an accountant, I'm going to run QuickBooks in my office,
That's
and
another one.
take your bank statements and key them in and do my own financials off of the bank. And that gives you a nice P&L and a nice balance sheet, and you can put it in a nice pretty folder, and that was it. And that's changed. There are some people that are still that way, and I would say that business owners who say they don't trust online banking and they want to hand deliver it and they want to print checks. You know what? You're an idiot. Sorry, you're an idiot. You're wasting time and you're not learning. And there's only so many hours in the day. Why would you do that? Online banking is secure if you understand how to use it properly. And, there's no reason to write a paper check. So I think that if accountants could be more effective in teaching their clients the benefits of working with them, and all it takes, because you guys are so wicked smart accountants, is get in there on 1 month and look at something and go to your client and go, I looked at your books and I found this. Whether it's a good thing or a future problem that could come up, you guys know better than anybody else because you can look at those KPIs. You know what the business is, you know what their pain points are on money. That may not be the real pain that they're having, but you can at least start there. And you can go in and go, hey, I saw this and this is a good thing. Or, hey, I saw this and this is going to cause you a problem. And here's what's going to happen when you have that problem. And this is what it's going to cost you. Do that once and save them money or show them what they're doing right. And they're going to say, okay, how do I do this again next month?
Yeah, I think, you bring up some points. I don't know if you realize how important it is. You mention all these tools. That's how I see like online banking. I say, how can I use this to save time? Time is the biggest. It doesn't show up on your P&L, right?
No, it does not.
But
Where time shows up on your face and on your body.
yeah, and we had a client, we just dropped them because this was her mentality. She didn't like online banking and she would get big checks from her client and she didn't trust people. So she would actually stand online at the bank. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I wouldn't take that person on as a client. And if I had to,
No, she only lasted
times
she lasted less than 3 months because that was indicative of how she did everything. She
yeah,
was like, "Oh, I want this," and she wanted everything her way, and it was just but, we embrace the tools. We see how we can use it, and,
and the
uh,
team is
I have a
fantastic.
su
So
I
much
have a
better.
suggestion for you. Uh you should teach accountants. Not marketing, you should teach them this is how you should be running your business.
I
Yeah.
think that there are a lot of accountants out there that actually do that.
Oh,
It
yeah?
took years to teach accountants how to do that, but I think the younger group of accountants, and I have been blessed to be around a group of them that I find refreshing, that think like this, that are focused on this. They don't give a damn about the tax returns. They care about what they're doing for their clients.
I
They
wanna
do.
talk to them. You're gonna set me up, and we're gonna have a Zoom call. No, seriously, because
There's,
this
there, there's
it
so many.
sounds like they're going back to the future, it's like they're going back to, "Oh my god, this is we didn't have all the tools and resources that we had."
And not only that, they work from wherever they live, but they have clients all over the United States.
Yeah,
Because they'll niche, they'll
that's
find a niche.
refreshing. So, what okay, I don't like to go too long. I could talk to you for hours and hours. Uh, but so this is refreshing. I didn't realize this. So
I
what is
just I
there?
just came back from a conference where there were probably about 250 accountants who were very forward-thinking people who were anxious to learn and anxious to adapt and anxious to do that kind of forward-thinking support for their clients. Yes, there are a lot of them out there.
Wow, what conference was I got to start going to these
One was
conferences.
called Counting Web, and it was in San Diego last week.
Oh,
There's another one that's going to be in Orlando that's primarily for bookkeepers who do this kind of work, and it's called BKX, which is the Digital Bookkeeping Conference.
okay. Stay on after I go up. But we're gonna have some collaborations to do.
They,
Because
they,
my final question was, where do you see this going? And I think that you answered it.
you know what? There's an interesting article in Accounting Today that was put out 2 days ago, and I talked about this a little bit in my presentation in Accounting Web, and that is that you don't need do you need a technical person and teach them accounting, or do you need an accountant and teach them technical? You know what? It can be either. And I don't have a degree in accounting. I don't have a degree as a CPA. I don't have any kind of certification. But what I do know is what I failed at. And what I do know is an accountant could have helped me do this better. And so I go out and find those accountants that can and will. And but the technical stuff, I got that down. I didn't need an accounting degree to do it. I know how to use the applications. I know how to integrate them. I know how to make them work together and play together and get the data into them. You just need to give me context on where that debit goes and where that credit goes, because I don't know which side of the ledger it belongs on. You tell me, and I'll get it in there correctly, and I'll show you how to do it. And then you can run those reports, and have the relationship with the client.
Yes.
And that's where the business owner needs. They need that relationship with somebody that they trust, and that person has to trust the numbers. And those numbers have to be real, and those numbers have to be current. And that's what technology is giving the accounting business today. And I believe it's revolutionizing the business, and it has been revolutionizing the business since I did my first bank feed in 1997. And the AI that's out there is catching up with it, and the accountants that are out there are seeing it and grabbing on. And I see a lot of positivity coming in. For
Wow.
the first time in 20 years, I mean, I've been struggling with this, like going, I know this is going to happen. Someday somebody's going to figure out that this really does work, and it's happening. And I think the pandemic pushed it.
You know, you just gave me hope, because I'm like, there's 28 million sole proprietors out there, and there's only so many clients I can handle. But they all need accountants. They need some kind of direction.
Every business needs an accountant at some point in their life. And I can tell you, if you're a one-off, I have 3 businesses right here down the street from me that my kid was in, and she said, my mom knows how to do QuickBooks. Like, don't tell people that. And they're all single person businesses, and I do this stuff every month. And every month we have a short little 5 or 10-minute meeting, and we go over. And then I go, and once a month I meet with once a year I meet with their tax accountant, and they'll call me.
Wow.
What do I do next? Hey, listen, this just came up. Do you think I should do this? Let me tell you something. It's out there, and the people are dying for it, and people are looking for good, forward-thinking accountants. And business owners want this. They know this.
So you described, are you familiar with Michael Garber and the E-Myth?
Yeah, I know Michael.
Okay.
I met him once, a few times.
Okay. One of our team members, Susan, actually worked with him for 3 years directly under him. And she's one of my advisors. And just to, I want to close it out. So just so being transparent, you know, I'm a CPA over 35 years in accounting, over 40 years. I started when I was 10 years old with a casino in my driveway. So I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. And when I started this Bedrock thing, which was about 3.5 years ago, you know, we had a specific focus to target the people that you just described, a single owner that knows how to bake but doesn't know how to run a business, right? We said they need help. And I said, you know what? I need help. And I said, maybe I need an accountant to actually go through because I'm in the books. And we didn't actually hire an accountant. We hired other people. I got my coach, Larry Broughton, who ran a very large business. And he went from being a night auditor at a hotel, a motel, a flea bag motel, to creating a $250 million hotel empire. Okay. And I was like, okay, show me how to do that with bookkeeping. And then we got Susan. So I surrounded myself that knew about business. I know how to put a financial together. I said, tell me how to dissect this. You know, I can't see the forest from the trees. So I'm thinking, you know what? If I'm a CPA and I need help with the numbers, I think, you know, a small business owner could use that kind of help. So what do you think?
Every one of them. Every one of them. They
Okay.
all do. And this pandemic and all the stuff that they've had to deal with, and the people that help them the most are accountants.
That's really, you're the first person, because sometimes I feel like I'm out there in the ocean alone, you know, the only accountant. So there are other people like us.
People out there, Joe.
You have to connect it. Okay, Penny. So how do people connect with you? I know that, so you help accountants with marketing, right?
No, I don't do marketing. I run a back office. I have 50 female accountants in India that do work for me that CPAs push, and I facilitate the push of that work.
Okay, so you're the back office, BPO.
The CPA.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. We might need you, or there's a big need for this. You've said it. I believe there's a big shortage of good accountants in the United States.
Yeah,
But
and it's getting thin because there are a lot of kids that don't want to go into this field. And why would they go into a field where they have to put in 14-hour days for 4 months of the year, and then the rest of the time they're on the phone going to their clients? Where is that
I'll
bank
tell
statement?
I'll tell you why, Penny, because
Yeah.
people like us, we're going to team up and we're going to tell them, listen, you're missing the boat. There's a great opportunity here. Don't go to school to be a lawyer, become an accountant. You can make a lot more money.
Yeah, they're not enough of them out there.
Yes. So that's our story, folks. We're sticking with it. Thanks for stopping by. If you have any questions for me or Penny, just put them in the chat and we will get back to you. I'll let Penny know that people wanted to connect with her. Do you have a website, Penny?
Yeah, MoneyPennyLLC.com.
MoneyPenny, were you on James Bond?
No, I wasn't, but my
okay.
name's Penny. I work in
MoneyPenny.com. I get it. So
LLC. MoneyPenny LLC. MoneyPenny.com is a virtual assistant.
Oh, okay. MoneyPenny LLC.com.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna have to talk about getting that domain name for you from that virtual assistant. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Joe DiChiara, CPA extraordinaire, signing out. God bless and stay.